What a week it was. A tax return scandal, Trump and Biden debate for the first time, election interference, and then Trump gets the Rona. This is the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. Hey Franklies! Welcome to the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show, where we talk about all the things that happened on Quite Frankly this week. My name is Cody. Let's get right into it, shall we? Monday was a hot one. Frank took a look at Trump's tax returns, remember those? On Monday's episode, a little presidential debate eve election meddling.
I would not be surprised if Donald Trump was the source for the New York Times. You remember the John Miller story? Here's Donald Trump, this is hilarious, accused of pretending to be his own spokesman. He's done this supposedly at different points in his life. He's used different pseudonyms for this. Take a listen to this reporting from ABC a few years ago.
It's a tape recording of a 1991 interview with somebody identifying himself as John Miller.
He's somebody that has a lot of options, and frankly, he gets called by everybody. He gets called by everybody in the book in terms of women.
He's got a lot of options. He gets called by everybody in the book in terms of women. It's totally him.
But today, the billionaire angrily denied it's him on that tape.
It doesn't sound like me on the phone, I will tell you that, and it was not me on the phone.
It was. Come on. Well, listen, he has to deny it, and it's okay. He should deny it, because that's the whole point of the joke. Never let up.
Never let up, never give in, and never surrender. USA! 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 Returning guest Rich Barris joined Frank on Tuesday's episode, Ballot Harvesting, Dumb Jeff Daniels, and Debate Predictions.
I feel like some of this is a little bit too convenient. And, look, Reuters just came out with a tax return poll. How did they know he was going to poll their tax return? How did they know that the New York Times it was dropping a tax return story two days in a row? How did they know that was coming, Frank, that they added that
Rich,
to their questionnaire?
It
takes time to process these polls, Frank. It doesn't sound like you could do it today and then crank it out. It doesn't work that way. They had that cooked.
Of course they did.
Cooked.
Biden had at least two things that I saw, videos and other things that were ready to go. They were ready to pounce all over it. This was completely coordinated.
For more information on Rich Barris, head on over to peoplespunditdaily.com. On Wednesday, Frank talked about his post-debate indigestion. Frank, what did you mean when you say that Trump left runners on base?
And this is what I mean about Trump leaving runners on base. They made him denounce white supremacy for the 100,000th time, and he blundered. This is a blunder right here. Listen to this. What do you want me to say? He's asking them, put words in my mouth. What do you want me to say? They could have both spouted out there, denounce Santa's reindeer, and the president would have said, all right, Donner, Blitzen, stand down, stand back, and stand by. He would have said anything right there, but now it's trending on Twitter. It's trending on Twitter. He told the Proud Boys to stand by. Uh-oh. Standing by for what? Oh, wow. This was a major telling moment in the debate. And meanwhile, Joe Biden is allowed to say this about Antifa. This is what he's allowed to say about Antifa after Donald Trump had words put in his mouth. He had to just denounce anybody.
This is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacist. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
Militia. That's
It's an idea.
FBI. His FBI director.
Antifa is an idea, not an organization. So Proud Boys and Pepe the Frog need to be held back. And Antifa is just an idea. Quite an explosive idea, if you ask me.
Don't worry, folks. I'm not in any real danger. It's just an idea. Oh boy, October arrives. Deep State Harvest time. Frank shared this clip of our favorite crime fighter, Lori Lightfoot.
I don't even know how to prep you for this. This is Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. This is how she entered into her press briefing today. Here we go. Just so you know, on the back of her cape, it says Rona Destroyer. She's showing up to do a press conference to give everybody what the Halloween guidelines in Chicago are so that they don't get sick from corona, even though you're more likely to get shot.
Good afternoon, everyone.
This is a mentally ill woman. Look at that picture. Holy shit.
Look, it's a bird. She's insane. I'm saved. It's the Rona Destroyer. Well, looks like POTUS got the corona. Friday's episode, Positive POTUS and Night Calls in October. Frank shared this Zero Hedge article.
Here is from Zero Hedge. Trump heads to Walter Reed Military Hospital as a precautionary measure. Jonathan Martin reports that Joe Biden is taking down his negative ads, going all positive per source familiar. Well, that's probably because he has to make up for the unbelievable tidal wave of hatred and pure, unadulterated evil that's coming from those who will probably be voting for Joe Biden.
Oh boy, what a week. I need something that's gonna make me feel better. I know. Let's go to the Discord and look at that channel, Pets Frankly. This is a place where you can go and share pictures of your adorable pets. Let's do that on a segment we call Pets of the Week. I feel better already. Well, now it's time that we go back to last week's wrap-up show and take a look at some of the wonderful comments that you left on a segment we call Comments of the Week. There were so many great comments last week, like this one from Alan Howard. That kid is great. Cody? Hey, that's me. And the humor helps lighten the seriousness of Quite Frankly. Well, thanks, Alan. Bobby H says, props to Amazing Polly for introducing me to Frank. Hey, thanks Amazing Polly, and thank you, Bobby H. Larkstar444 says, these QF jewels are diamonds. Chode and Abe. That's our producer, Abe Sinclair. Especially if you missed the live shows and need a quick pick-me-up. Ha! Aunt BB says, go Cody, great wrap-up show. Yeah. Thanks, Aunt BB. Joseph Magdalene says, excellent comedy, great editing, and good politics. Did you say great editing? And Wake You Up says, man, I hope that comment of the week thing is just a joke. I'm kind of hoping you have more depth to you than that, bro. How's that for a real comment? Well, how's this Wake You Up? You are this week's winner of the comment of the week. Congratulations, and thanks for the great comment. Oh, those were some great comments. Thank you so much. And now it's time that we take a look at some of the best calls of the week on a segment that we call Calls of the Week.
Let's take some calls. Calls like that. Taking all of your calls. Calls like this just make me feel amazing.
Hit it!
Michael, St. Michael Sasquatch, real quick, what's your prediction for tonight's debate?
I have no idea. But I want to talk about Amy Coney Barrett. There was a couple of times in her past where she got some dudes drunk and gave them a job, and that might come back to haunt her, you know? And because those guys are going to say, come on, man. Okay. I got this job and I didn't really want it, and it's
okay, I see what you're saying. I see the irony there. I never know what's going to come out of St. Michael. Zach from Kentucky, what's on your mind?
Hey, I was just going to talk about the debate and the fact that the one thing I haven't heard anyone talk about yet, which bothers me, is that nobody's talking about the debate rules themselves, in which they allocated 0 time for rebuttal. And where I mean by that is normally they would go back to the person if they were referenced or a thing about them was referenced. And I think the candidates would have a better job controlling themselves too, because they'd understand, hey, I will have a chance to respond instead of just, I have to take my chance now.
Hey, Frank, this is Gabby. How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing okay. What's on your mind, Gabby?
Man, you are on fire tonight. I am enjoying your show so much, I can't tell you. I don't know if it's being a new dad they cut you loose or getting struck by YouTube. But whatever it is, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I can't wait till you're on Roku.
Well, thank you. Well, every once in a while these days happen. I don't want to give you guys, I don't want to sandblast you guys every night you come around here, so you get the full complement of Frank emotions.
Oh, those were some great calls. Well, now it's time for my favorite part of the show where I get to take your calls. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and call in now. The phone lines are open. I want to hear your thoughts on the debate. The phone board's lighting up. I love it. All right, well, let's go to our first caller. Caller, who's this?
John Miller.
John Miller. Oh, wait a minute. You're a spokesman for Donald Trump, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, fantastic. Listen, I thought Trump and Biden were going to come to blows. Was that a concern at all?
He's a good guy, and he's not going to hurt anybody.
Good. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Listen, I got to ask you, why didn't Trump just come out and condemn the white supremacists? It seems like a gimme. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's just that he really decided that he wasn't, he didn't want to make the commitment. He didn't want to make a commitment. He really thought it was too soon.
I understand. Well, thank you for the call, John. Thanks for clearing things up. Well, I know one thing for certain. Chris Wallace was the worst debate monitor I've ever seen in my entire life. God, he sucks. All right, let's go to our next caller, shall we? Uh-oh. I know who this is. Hey, Chris. How's it going?
Cody?
Listen, Chris, you might be upset, but I have the right to say anything I want. The First Amendment gives me an absolute right to criticize you.
It's not an absolute right, Cody.
Not an absolute right? What are you talking about, not an absolute right?
But the fact is, Cody, there are real-world consequences
I don't
here.
Think so. Real-world consequences?
Sir?
Listen, you suck.
Sir?
Hey, listen. Hey, all right, listen. You keep trying to cut me off, and I'm just...
I think that the country would be better served if we allowed both people to speak with fewer interruptions.
Hey,
I'm appealing to you, sir,
I agree with you, so I don't see why you're so hard on me.
Well, frankly, you've been doing more interrupting.
Oh, really? You know what? Thanks for the call, Chuck.
All right. It's Chris.
Oh, Chris, whatever. You know what? Chris Wallace, you suck. The phone lines are closed. We're not taking any more calls. Well, that about does it for me on this week's episode of the Quite Frankly Wrap-Up Show. Be sure to head on over to quitefrankly.tv. That's your one-stop shop for all things Quite Frankly.
QuiteFrankly.tv is the place to be to catch the latest episode, the latest blog entries, links to support the show on Patreon, PayPal, and Subscribestar. Go to Forum to check out the Reddit page, and head over to the merch store. Buy yourself a t-shirt, and hey, it's getting cold, buy a hoodie for your dog. Quite Frankly streams live weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern wherever you get your podcast. So until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye.
KLeave.com. Vintage skincare. I love them. No. That wasn't supposed to happen. That wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't supposed to play the shit scene from Van Wilder. That's not how you support a sponsor.